Hello, welcome to Rosebank Farm and Garden. I'm so excited today. We went on a mini road trip. I found a new garden center and I scored some new plants. So I was thrilled to find this new little greenhouse. And if anyone lives in Ohio, you could leave a comment or send me a message of the place that I found. But it was a nice greenhouse. It had a lot of cement pieces as well as all kinds of shrubs and perennials, which I find lacking in the local chain stores near where I live. There was the cutest little cement fish that I would love for my pool mascot if I didn't already have a mermaid statue. So it was a really, really neat little greenhouse. As I was selecting plants at the greenhouse, I was thinking about places in my garden that I needed plants and the light requirements. Those are the two biggest things for me when I'm looking at choosing new plants, perennials, or shrubs, is mainly the light requirement, because I can control the water to some extent. So anyways, I found several plants that I'm excited to get in my garden. I'd like to show you the plants and then talk about where I'm going to put them and why and how I site them and space them. So let's take a look at these plants. Well, the first two plants I bought are ferns. And the reason why I wanted to buy some ferns was we were camping at Mohican State Park, went for a hike on a very steep trail. I didn't have my camera, so I don't have a picture, but there was a spot on the trail that had pine trees, and underneath it was just full of ferns, just natural, beautiful setting, and I thought that's what I want on my property. I love the look. But again, I'm dealing with some light requirements, so these were the only ferns there. Right here, this is what I'm looking for. Part to full shade. So that means these ferns can take a little bit of sun, and that's what I need. The other ferns were full shade, and that's not going to happen. So let me try to say the name. It is Dryopteris Phyllis Moss Undulata Robusta male fern. Anyways, they're in a little bit of rough shape here, but I don't know. I'm excited just to get started with having some ferns under my pine tree. And then here's the other one. It's a little bit smaller, but that's all they had of this kind that could take the part sun. So really excited about these two ferns. So first up, I know I want to get these ferns as deep under the branches of the pine tree as I can. And so I think I want to put the first one right back in here. I'm a little concerned that there might be a lot of roots. I might not be able to place it exactly where I want, but I do know that I want it right there. The first thing I'm going to do is go set it in a spot, and then I'm going to sit on my swing right here and see if I can see it, because that's part of the reason why we garden, is to be able to look at beautiful things. So I want to be able to see this fern. Okay, so I am sitting on my swing and I can look over and see that fern underneath the pine tree. I like the placement of it. Can I zoom in? Ah, there we go. The second fern I've placed here on the other side of the pine tree, but again, somewhere where I can see it from the swing. I think I need to move it over just a little bit more from the way the pine limbs hang down. Let me fix that. I like that placement much better. So I'm sitting on the swing like this, and it's framed nicely by the pine limbs. Okay, so I think that's the spot for those two ferns. I decided I'm not going to show you me planting those, because especially this one, there's a limb right here. So I'm going to be bent over. It's going to be very awkward. So I will just give you a tour when I do get these in the ground. And I'll be using Biotone starter fertilizer in the holes and watering them in very well. So we'll just take a tour at the end. Next plant is a Japanese anemone called Curtain Call Pink. And it's full of late summer blooms up here. Really excited about this Japanese anemone. Okay, the light requirements. I wasn't real concerned about the height. I will be as I start to plant, but when I was buying it, I was mostly concerned about the light. It says more than 4 hours of daily sun, and on the top right here, full sun to part shade. So that's what I'm going to be considering mostly when I find a place for it, is the light requirements, but also that this one gets, let me see, 14 to 18 inches. So it's kind of like a mid-sized plant. So there could be shorter plants in front of it. All right, let's go find a spot for it. Another reason why I wanted a Japanese anemone is because it is a late summer and early fall bloomer. Just when a lot of your perennials are losing their blooms and they're done for the season, this one kicks it up a notch. Also, the Japanese anemone is a perennial in zones 5 through 8. I garden in a zone 6, so knowing that it's a zone 5, I know this will survive. Here's the spot where I'm going to put the Japanese anemone. The Laetrix in front of it is 12 to 15 inches. Then the Japanese anemone can grow 14 to 18. The salvia beside it can grow up to 36. If it ever takes off, the poor thing, my clearance plant. And the little line behind it is 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, so that'll really fill in back there. So I think having the Japanese anemone in this spot, I might even move it just a little bit more forward, like maybe right there, so that this starts to fill in. Another reason why I think the Japanese anemone will go well here is the color of the blooms. I have some purple going on. I've got some blue in the salvia. We've got the pink from the Japanese anemone. So I think that'll just pull some more color into this area. The next plant I found at the nursery is this hardy geranium, and I just love the purple color. Let me turn around to one of the blooms. Just look at that. Isn't that so pretty? Now this geranium's in pretty bad shape. I almost wanted to ask for a discount, but I didn't. I paid full price for it. But it is a perennial to cold hardiness to -20. So that should do just fine in my area. But let me show you the tag. What I was looking for is that sun to part shade. And this one is 18 to 24 inches tall and wide. So it's going to get big, and it says it is a spreader. It has a bushy habit. I know that wherever I plant this, I need to give it plenty of room to spread out, and I'm really excited about that color. Let's go find a spot for it. Yeah, back over here again, really working on filling in this new flower bed. I believe I'm going to put the geranium over here. This gets late afternoon and evening sun, really hot and scorching. And the first plant I could put in this area on this side would be this geranium. And I like that because the Laetrix on this side has this delicate purple bloom. And so it's going to be echoed in the purple of the hardy geranium on the other side. I think this will be a good spot. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I think it's a good 24 inches away from the flower pot and from the cedar, and it'll have room to just fill in that whole area. Next up in my plant haul are 2 different kinds of daylilies. Now, I was inspired by the Ohio Association of Garden Clubs, which I belong to. They have a Facebook page, and members can post pictures of their gardens. And I was so inspired by the daylilies some of these lovely ladies have in their gardens. And I realized I'm lacking in the daylily department. I only have Stella de Oro and one other kind that is a really tall daylily with orange. I don't even know what kind it is. But that's all I have, are those 2 kinds. And so I was looking for some daylilies. So this one is called Lavender Blue Baby. And it doesn't have any lilies on it right now, but there's the picture. Let me move that out of the way. And I really like the green throat. I think that will tie in with the other plants around it. Let's take a look at the tag. So it is 5.5 inches wide by 28 inches tall, hardy in zones 4 through 9. Blooms early, mid-season, and then a rebloomer. So awesome. The next daylily I fell in love with was called Apricot Sparkles, and the bloom is just going out. I should have got a picture of it before. It was gorgeous. It's kind of sad now, but that's why they're called daylilies. Anyways, very excited. I love the color. I'm not really big into the hot colors on the color wheel, the bright oranges and the reds. But I do like this soft apricot color. Really love it. All right, so here's the stats. It's 3 inches wide, 18 inches tall. So it's a smaller one, and hardy in zones 3 through 8. Oh wow, zone 3. This is definitely a tough plant here. Really tough plant. So it's a smaller one, so I want to find a full sun spot towards the front of my bed. This is my lilac flower bed, I call it. I put this flower bed in last year and really been filling it out this year. And I think I have the pink microchip buddleia that I moved so it could get more sun. Behind it is some paniculata summer phlox. And so I think down in front of the phlox, this shorter daylily will add that color of peach that I need, because I have so much pink and purple going on over here that I think the peach is needed. The spot I've picked out for the lavender blue baby daylily is on a flower bed that I am creating. I'm just getting some plants in it for now. Probably next year I'll go through and take all the grass out and mulch and stuff, but this year I'm just getting some bigger plants and shrubs in. Anyways, let me back up. And so this is a full sun spot, and I think this will be good. The last type of plant I bought from the nursery was a hybrid phlox called Fashionably Early Princess. And it's a pink purple type of bloom, and it takes full sun. I'm really excited about these because they are a midsummer to late summer bloomer, and this is the time of year where I'm really craving some more of those beautiful blooms. Yeah, this one didn't look so good, but it looked better than the others. I'm just happy to have them and to get them in the ground. So here's the tag. Height 28 to 32 inches, spacing 26 to 30 inches apart. More than 6 hours of light a day, and zones 4 through 8. I'm back over on the driveway flower bed that I'm adding a few plants here and there. Full sun all day, and there is a smoke bush behind it, which I ordered online. And of course they can only ship smaller plants through the mail, so eventually that smoke bush will be much bigger, and a nice dark backdrop for the summer phlox. Well, now that we've taken a good look at all the plants I bought in that plant haul, it's time to get them in the ground. And I have some helpers who are going to help me do that. I'm glad you're in there digging and not me.
Right here, okay?
Just a little bit, buddy.
Whoa.
Look at these at these roots. Oh my.
Huge. 7. Oh my. Might come out.
Yeah. It's got a lot of roots, so we got to rough them up.
Oh, come on. Done, baby.
Have all the plants in the ground and added some mulch to give that area a nice finished look. And I'm so excited with how everything turned out because I have more beautiful things to look at in the garden and enjoy. So I'd like to give you a tour right now and we'll take a look at all of the plants. Let's start with the ferns. I was able to get some more ferns and I just have them sitting out to give you an idea of the look I'm going for. But on the left of the pine tree, we have that nice big fern back there. I had to move it a little bit because of roots. And over here on the right, let me zoom in. But I think it's going to be so pretty with all of these ferns. Here's a look at the ferns from the other direction, not the cement pad where the swing is. But I think that's going to look really nice, those ferns spaced through there. The only problem I have is running into roots. But I think that's just really pretty. Next up is the Japanese anemone. I had to move it over closer to the salvia, which I might move that salvia in the spring to give the Japanese anemone more room. But if I back up, it looks really nice and is filling in there. The next plant was the hardy geranium, so I'm going to take a step back and just pan over. There's the geranium. I kind of extended the flower bed a little bit, and I think it's really starting to look good. And I love how the purple mirrors, let me go back some more, the purple of the Liatrix on the other side. Look at that, so pretty. Next is the Apricot Sparkles Daylily. It's tucked in beside a pink microchip buddleia and some summer phlox, but I love how they're all close together and just pair well. This is the Lavender Blue Baby Daylily next to my Olivia Austin Rose. We have the summer phlox, and I love the light chartreuse green of their flowers contrasting the smoke bush right behind them. And that smoke bush will get a lot bigger and fill in. So I think it's just a beautiful combination. I hope you enjoyed watching my thought process as I go about adding new plants into the landscape, taking into account their light requirements, their height, their width, for the spacing of the plants. So thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.